Hi, good morning. This is Andrew Lalo, the president. It's so good to see you guys again. Well, today, reason why I'm going to do a webinar called Pre-Diabetic Naturally. I have a lot of now clients come back to me and say, hey, I'm a pre-diabetic. I really don't want to be a diabetes. So how can I do it? Okay. And that's a lot of these questions. And so they will start doing using low GT, help them to start lowering the blood sugar. And many of them come in is very close to A1C of 614. They usually 612, 613 is very, very close. So I say you have a very good chance to able to actually help you to doing your lifestyle change, drinking low GT. You definitely can help you lower your blood sugar all the way back to A1C of 5.7. And many of my clients actually did this and they were very happy because at the end of the day, they start changing their lifestyle. What that means is they actually change their eating habit. They no longer take a lot of the carbs. And then they go to the supermarket, they look at the label, say, wow, this is the carb is 770 per gram. I mean, wow, they really start looking at it and say, gee, you mean I every day eat those cereal is so much sugar in there, right? So with that in mind, they really start practicing. And on top of that, they eat a lot of greens, start eating half a plate are all salad, and then 1/4 are the proteins. They use beans, and then also 1/4 will be like fish. And so the diet has been really able to help them to now control to really lower down the carb intakes to about 150 grams per day to 200 grams. That's it. Okay. Now, a more even important is start doing exercise. They no longer sit around. They actually walk 10,000 steps a day. And with that, they start losing weight. And the weight now come down to a lot of them, they say, I lose 4 to 5 pounds and eventually 10% of weight. And eventually they will start seeing the A1C actually start going down, slowly going down, and up to 5.7. So I thought perhaps today, first, alert you what is a pre-diabetic. Second is to help you to understand, you can actually reverse that from pre-diabetic, not to continue to go diabetes. So that's our webinar. That will be the very important message that you can understand. So hopefully you can able to change lifestyle. The important is changing the lifestyle while you are in the pre-diabetic stage, because that's the reason why when you change lifestyle and start drinking low sugar, that will help you, and I'm very sure that will work. So keep that in mind, and then we'll work together and help you become a better health and starting your really better health journey. I have so many examples, so many people actually doing the same thing and become so successful. So I want to make sure you also be successful and doing that too. So, okay, so let me try to get your program going and then go from there. Okay, let's see. Okay, good, excellent. So now let's go in together. Okay, good. We all get our. I hope everybody can see me real well and hear me well. So we'll start our program. So today we'll talk about reverse pre-diabetic naturally. Well, how do you do it? I mean, we say pre-diabetic naturally. Okay, that's the important message. So first of all, I would kind of go through and let you know what is a pre-diabetic and why there's a threat now, why you have to worry. And how do you know you are pre-diabetic or already diabetic? Pre-diabetic has something that a lot of time no symptom. And basically, you have to kind of look at it and you have to measure your blood sugar to understand, and you have to go to the doctor to get A1C, then you will know. So we'll talk about that too. And then basically with that, if you don't do anything, what's the risk? As the risk is tremendous. Once you get diabetes, you can't go back. You will always be diabetic. So I don't want you to go to diabetes, right? And then so you want to make sure taking all the steps don't move you from pre-diabetes to diabetes. A lot of people don't know, and they actually will kind of fall into the trap and eventually just move themselves to diabetes. And so then you have to do a lot more to get it back. Okay, you can't get it back in a record wise, but at least you can drive your A1C even a diabetic using all the knowledge you have, change lifestyle, drinking those sugars. You can actually get back to the pre-diabetic state. And also what strategy do to prevent you to do all these manage and make sure that you are good to be a individual to prevent your pre-diabetic to diabetes. And we'll give you all the nutritional things that you can work on, and also talk about Lu Shu how can help you. Okay, so today is a full agenda, but I think this agenda will be very good to help you to understand. A lot of people kind of saw my previous lecture, but kind of forgot. And now they say, hey, you need to tell me again. So, okay, we do that now. We'll tell you again. Now, a lot of names here today, I didn't know who they are because they don't seem to came here before. So I like to always catch up, take a couple of minutes to catch up basically, why there's 4-stage diabetes. Now, the first stage of diabetes is the LDL bad cholesterol start moving up, okay? When it increases, it will start damaging the B cell come out from the pancreas. The B cells will take the sugar to the cells, but it's damaged, so the B cell doesn't work anymore. So blood sugar will continue circulating in the bloodstream, continue going up. The problems start forming because your LDL cholesterol, thick cholesterol, come up with the sugar together. The blood become thick and start forming plaques everywhere. The whole body, the plaques everywhere. So with that, you'll be very quickly moved to stage 2. All these plaques here, unfortunately, it start decrease the space of the vessels, so your blood pressure start going out. However, during this time, you have no problem, you have no feeling, you have no pain. You only know you will go out to see the doctor and start doing a blood pressure. Oh, my blood pressure go up. So that it will be part of the major sign. So at that stage, you have nothing happen, but if you can do this to stop it, to start doing a dieting and things like that, that will decrease everything. So you don't even go to stage 3, which is pre-diabetic. That's what we'll talk about today. Now, everybody, you go to pre-diabetic stage, every doctor, how to find out, they measure the same thing. They measure your HbA1c. Now, very important, what is HbA1c? Basically, everybody have blood cells called hemoglobin, okay, these red cells. And this red cell, they measure the amount of sugar that attach the blood cell, the glucose, the percent glucose attached to the blood cell. Oh, if you're 5.7 and below, you're a normal person. But if you are 5.7 to 6.4, this is the stage you are in pre-diabetic stage. So in the pre-diabetic stage, the doctor will say, hey, you're pre-diabetic now. You need to start changing your lifestyle. You have to control your diet, exercise, and also control your weight. And saying all that, you will hear it, but you might not have motivation to act on. So you're pre-diabetic, but seems like nothing happened. I have no pain, nothing. So if you continue, 80% of these patients will continue to do the same old thing without change. Net result, they will have 2 to 3 years, they become a diabetic, okay? So only thing at that time you can help you to prevent your A1C to go over 6.4 is you have to change your lifestyle, your weight control, your diet, and also exercise, and drink Lu Shu tea. Lu Shu tea is not drugs, it is actually just a tea drink. It's easy to help you to continue to lower your blood sugar. So basically, that's the step. But if you don't do anything, most of you will change to diabetic. If you, about 2 to 3 years, the plaques will continue to form more and more, and all kind of consequences will come. And later on, we'll talk about what is the real consequence here. So it's so important in the pre-diabetic state, you got to act. And even more important, I don't want to get you to pre-diabetic. So if you have higher LDL cholesterol, blood pressure going up, you already start doing something with Lu Shu tea and all the lifestyle change. You will never go pre-diabetic, that even better, okay? So we'll talk a lot about drinking Lu Shu tea. Why I suggest Lu Shu tea, okay? Very simple. Lu Shu tea has 2 items in there. First, there's the guava leaf bits. And guava leaf bits actually help to delay the absorption sugar entering the blood vessels. Then you have the bitter melon, which increase the insulin sensitivity, taking back the sugar into the cells, so you have energy, the fuel. Okay. Now the wonderful thing of bitter melon is also when they have excess sugar, excess LDL cholesterol, excess salt, they will dump it out on urine. They don't reabsorb to the body. When that happens, your sugar go down, your LDL cholesterol go down, and your salt go down, your blood pressure go down, plus you detox. That's why this is 100% natural. There's no caffeine. It's not a drug. It's just a tea drink, very delicious. And you can drink it hot and cold. And a lot of people, which we have now working together, they do that every day, and the blood sugar continue to go down. And that's why we suggest low sugar tea will definitely help you. Now, with that, we are not only to help you just to say, hey, drink low sugar tea 6 to 8 times a day. No, that's not only that. We also will teach you, like this kind of lecture, how to get low carb diet, low fat diet, so you can always control your carbs on your diet itself and your fats. And then with that, you also have a program that do your exercise, 8 to 10,000 steps. We're 347 lectures now in the YouTube. You can look at it anytime and your leisure to learn more about what is diabetes, what is cholesterol, how to do exercise, or how to do weight control. So you also need to get your weight control, your BMI more than 23, you have drop it down to 23. A lot of people are 30, going use my program, they drop down to 23. Plus, every week, the webinar here is free for you to learn and empower you to understand what it is. So that 347, I don't think there's any company that actually do so much webinar and make it free for your enjoyment and learning. So that's what we do here. And this is my commitment to help you to understand your disease or your prevent you to getting a disease. So that's why we are so gung-ho in this. And we have a lot of customer. His A1C is 10+%. Even though they have 10%, they dropped it down to 5.7. So they become a normal person, and so wonderful. And I have a lot of customers who are pre-diabetic, and they became 5.7 low E also. So we are really happy. A lot of these people do that, but you got to work on it. It's not free. It's not free in the sense you don't do anything, it works. No, you have to work on it, and you have to really look at a control of diet and exercise and also weight control, and really learn the things we do. You'll be successful. I'm very sure. Okay, let's talk about pre-diabetic. Now, the problem with pre-diabetic, the trend in the worldwide is going more and more and more, even as fast as COVID-19, because a lot of people don't realize the prevalence in the 80s is only 4.2. Now it's about 9.1. So a lot of people, in some data, is 464 million adult in worldwide, 20 to 79. But a lot of data even say this, right? Actually, this number is too low. It's actually 1.5 billion people pre-diabetic. And so the problem is, especially this pre-diabetic is on a very high income level, the diet is better, and so they don't do much. And US alone, there is 96 million people age from 18 and older are pre-diabetic. Imagine that, 96 million people is really amazing. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't even know what happened. They have no idea. And so it's worse yet, more and more young American adult, while they're only young, maybe 15 to 25 years old, all these are become pre-diabetic because of the diet, and they eat a lot of those stuff. Then they all become, chances of pre-diabetic are extremely high, and or they already moved themselves pre-diabetic. So the big one is North America, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In Europe is actually United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Spain. All these are big, high prevalence of pre-diabetic country. Middle East, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. Now, why all these are big time? Because of the fact that these people, the diet is really very sweet, and in a sense, so also many of them are overweight. That become a very good candidate. In South America, Argentina, Brazil, Chile. In Asia, is Japan, South Korea, China, India, Indonesia. All these are really big time pre-diabetic. So really in your country, they all really in this stage. So really at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself whether you're pre-diabetic, and it's good to, you got to check it out. Now, a lot of time you want to say, check out, well, how do I know I'm pre-diabetic? You got to have a blood test. And basically, your blood test is normal people, A1C is 5.7 below. But if you're 5.7 to 6.4, you are pre-diabetic. And if you're over 6.5, you are diabetes. So in pre-diabetic, just defined as you're not quite a diabetic yet, but you are pre-diabetic. At this stage, you can truly, during this time, you can do something to reverse the trend very easily. Now, why you have pre-diabetic? Because one, the insulin resistance getting higher and higher, and then basically the insulins are not as working as good, and you maybe need more insulin to help you to bring the sugar into cells. I mentioned you uh, continue your diet and so forth, and bring a lot of sugar into your bloodstream, and then pretty soon your pancreas continue come out with insulin to work, but it's not enough. So eventually, the blood sugar or glucose are continue accumulate, and it's over the 5.7 is now going to pre-diabetic state. If you're not well controlled, eventually it'll go over 6.4, and so this is something that, from the pre-diabetic stage, pretty much, if you don't control the diet, a pre-diabetic, and pretty soon, 2 years to 3 years, you become diabetes. And then, so you really, at the end, as a pre-diabetic, is a first good, stage to get yourself, hey, I need to do something about it. Now, later on, I will talk about the effect, and that is scary, okay? So we need you to really listen to this so you don't get yourself to the truly diabetic stage, because the end result is not good, okay? Now, how doctor will test you to pre-diabetic? First, they will do what's called fasting glucose test, which they usually ask you, hey, after midnight, don't take any food, any drink, anything. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, you come in, which is 8 hours afterwards, or 9 hours, you take a blood test. So they will check your blood, see what is your fasting plasma glucose is going to be. The second one, which all doctor will test, is called an A1C. And A1C is, again, I'm talking about the molecule called, the blood cells called, red blood cells called hemoglobin. They check how much sugar, percentage of glucose, blood sugar, attached to this blood cell. If you're 5.7 below, you're a normal person. But if your A1C is 5.7 to 6.4, hey, you're pre-diabetic. So basically, in the whole world, everybody measure that. That's very easy to understand. So when you go to the doctor, you're 30, 40 years old, you should ask, hey, can I take an A1C, understand where I'm at? And if you do, you're able to find out. Now, a lot of people don't understand. Wow, you mean I'm a pre-diabetic already? Because many, my customer comes in, are all caught in surprise. And they are saying, I'm already 6.3, and they are very close to 6.4. And so you need to really check, okay? So some of the unfortunate pre-diabetic, majority of the time, you really have no sign and symptom. You look about the same. You eat around the same. You don't feel any different. However, some of the common symptoms are dark skin, armpit, side of the neck, and so they have a skin tag, as I show in this picture. You can skin tag here. You see a lot of that. And the sad part is your eyes start changing, and that is dangerous. You know why? Because when the eye change, you gotta call it diabetic eye. Actually, it's called diabetic retinopathy. So your retina is going to be affected, and then you just gotta start seeing poorly, blur. That's the very bad symptom. Which you start to get that, man, you better go check it out and treat, because if not, you don't treat, you're gonna lose your eyesight. I'll give you a good example. One of my engineering customer, who is 50 years old, not quite 50, 49, 50 years old. And then he came in and said, hey, you can see him, he is very big. And but every day he drank 5 bubble teas. And he has to have that because they said, I have to have that. Then I get energy. And he drank a lot of that. And it came in high, the blood sugar was very high. Now I slowly having him get his blood sugar as high as 10 and coming down and down and down, but his eyes start getting feel blur, and he started eyes short-sighted. I said, no, 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 you gotta go see a eye doctor to check it out. And lucky he went to see the eye doctor. He has diabetic eyes. And you can see because when you have all the, when you look at the eye, basically a doctor look at it and all the vessels are full of cholesterol or plucked up everywhere and it affect your eye and you cannot see clearly. So at the end, they can save only one eye. Imagine that you're 50 years old, you can only one eye can see clear, one eye don't see clear. That would be terrible. So really, you need to look at that, take it seriously. Now, another sign and symptom coming in is you have increased thirst, and then also frequent urinations. Always go to the bathroom, and plus you always get increased hungry. I ever eat, I never get feel, complete, so to speak, and you also feel tired often. Now, vision loss, as mentioned already, that's a bad stuff. And plus, as time goes on, if you continue to do this, you become type 2 diabetic, you start forming heart disease, meaning that, remember the plaques that we talk about? These plaques is from everywhere, on your head. The worst is going to your heart. It blocks your coronary artery. And if you block your coronary artery deep enough, you might get a heart attack, you die, okay? And that's why I said it's very important. Now, another very common pre-diabetic symptom is you get numbness and tingling feeling of the feet and hand. And many times start off your hand, your feet become very dry. And that is a big symptom that commonly a lot of people have. Your leg become dry and your hand become very dry. Leg will always dry first, okay? And then you also start seeing frequent infection. In other words, the skin, come on, somebody just got infected because the circulation become bad and the skin get injured, they start getting infection. And heal very slowly, especially blister, sore, heal extremely slowly. Now, on top of that, sometimes some individual, they're not quite a diabetes, suddenly they lose a lot of weight. They thought, oh, wow, real good, unintended, but at last I'll lose weight. They lost 10 to 15 pounds. Now, when you look at that, basically, that is one of the pre-diabetic symptoms to going to diabetes. They always have that. Plus, worse that it affects your kidney. So that also have to do lab tests to check that. Now, if your kidney disease, meaning your kidneys start getting all the damage because of filtration, the sugars can't do it anymore. They start damage your kidney. And you don't want, definitely you don't want your route on this because 70% of the diabetic patients have kidney disease. At the end of it, that cannot control, you know what? They have to end up to have dialysis. Oh, that would be bad because you have to go hospital 3 times a week to dialyze, all kind of problem comes on. So don't go in that route because I used to work with a lot of my patients who are who became eventually diabetes and need to dialyze. So they have the hemodialysis and CAPD. Oh man, that is terrible. So don't fall into that part. Now, suddenly, what risks to get you to pre-diabetic? And a lot of people don't remember that. And if you are in this category, you really need to look at and really gotta check. One is sleep apnea. A lot of people don't know what sleep apnea is because sleep apnea is, air pipe, and somehow you are very chubby on the neck area, and your tongue kind of cover this air pipe, and you can't breathe at nighttime, and you don't know you're sleeping, right? So you will kick your leg, and you try to struggle, and you can't sleep, or you fall asleep and go back in, and so daytime you're very tired. If you have sleep apnea, the chance of pre-diabetic is extremely high, and you have to sit back, a machine keep blowing air into your air pipe so you have no stress. Now, if you don't use the sit pack, you know what? You might get stroke because the breathing stop might affect the brain, and some brain cell will be actually get damaged, then you get stroke. So you don't want that. Now, second one is you have overweight and obese. And somebody, if you're overweight and obese, the chances you have pre-diabetic or diabetes is going to be high. So what is, if your BMI not 23, you're 30, hey man, you better go check it out and see what it is. Your blood sugar, A1C, is there any issue and so forth. Now, also, if you are a person that doesn't move much, you don't walk, that's why I have a watch that measure myself and how many steps I watch. If you don't have a watch, look at a phone. Most all major phone nowadays have record how many paces of walk, step you have done. So I'll get a watch to measure. So you should have at least 10,000 steps a day, and that's important because if you can get 10,000 steps, the chance that you can lower your weight and also get your enough exercise much better. Now, also you have polycystic ovary syndrome disease, and that's ladies that you have that, you need to check. Also hormonal condition, sometimes if your hormonal condition is not good, then you really got to do that too. Also, if you are gestation diabetic, meaning that during pregnancy, you have diabetes and now you don't have it. Don't think that you don't have it forever. The chances for you to go up is very high. So you have gestation diabetic, meaning you during pregnancy you're diabetic. The chances 3 to 5 years, you better check, make sure that you have not been diabetic, okay? Because then you just take A1C and net result after pregnancy. You really have to monitor. Don't continue to have gaining weight and so forth. So you have to continue to eat the real salad all the time, a lot of greens, and then your fish and your beans rather than eat a lot of rice. That is really important. Now, this is the most common in family members, like a dad, your mom, your uncle. If they have diabetes, most likely you have a chance because it's part of your genes. That is something that you might not able to control. So if you find your parents or your uncle have diabetes, well, the chances that you have diabetes is high. So you got to check. The last but not least is your elderly. I mean, not elderly. You just, if you're 45 and up, then you basically chance of getting pre-diabetic, diabetic is higher because somehow your pancreas is not working as well because of just due to age. So these are the things that if you are in one of these categories, you better start looking at it because the chances of you being there is higher. And as you know, if you are pre-diabetic, you can progress yourself to type 2 diabetic. And this is you become type 2 diabetic, your health complication is substantial increase. And what's that mean? Meaning that you have a chances of stroke. I have many patients that I treated because of diabetes, they got stroke. And that healthcare is so expensive. And many of them have cataract, glaucoma, and also they have pancreatitis, they need insulin. The bad thing is your heart disease. And heart disease can be very common because of the fact that, remember the plaques that form over, and if not only form on the brain and all that, they also form in the heart. You have 5, arteries that in your heart to supply. And so with these blood vessels, just plaque, coronary artery, one of them, and then you blood does not supply one of the part of the muscle, the heart is going to die. In 20 minutes, you get a heart attack. Too bad, you die. I don't want you to be that. I want you to live. And so that's why it's so important. You have to control your disease. Coronary artery disease is big time for diabetic patient. Now, a lot of people not sensitive is there's nerve damage. Why nerve damage? Because what happened is, again, the circulation cannot get to the nerve and the nerve start damage. So you don't feel, you have no feeling. And so net result, if you don't feel, you get injured, it doesn't heal, net result, you actually end up, you have to chop your leg, and it's very sad. You end up, you have, one leg amputated or 2 legs amputated. Wow, that would be terrible. And plus, pregnancy complication, that's also very common because of the fact that you are during pregnancy, you have diabetes, but after pregnancy, you have nothing, you're okay, normal. But then later, a few years later, you become a diabetic. So make sure that when you have pregnancy, you have diabetic once, Don't just think that, oh, I'm okay, I'm over. No, you have to continue to check. You also have high chance of gum disease. Now, the last is really diabetic nephropathy. That is really your kidney. 70% of the diabetic patient has some form of kidney disease. In other words, because they feel the sugar keep going through the bloodstream and going damage the kidney. So much continued damage, eventually the kidney doesn't work. So net result, you want to end up with dialysis, either CAPD or hemodialysis. Don't go on that route because that will be tremendous change your lifestyle. And that is something that you can prevent. It's up to you, you work on it or not. So now we talk a lot about, what is pre-diabetic. So what leads you to eventually will be type 2 diabetes. Because from your pre-diabetic, remember, from your pre-diabetic state, A1C from 5.7 to 6.4, once you're over 6.4, which take you maybe 2-3 years to change, and you become a diabetes now. So how do I know we're diabetic? So usually a doctor will take a fasting blood sugar level again. If your blood sugar level is 130 milligram per dil above, you are now considered as diabetes. In Hong Kong, with 7.2 millimole per liter. And that usually measure, after you have not eaten anything for 8 hours and check your blood sugar. Now, also they will check after meal, your blood sugar. What will that be? Now, if you're higher after meal, higher than after 2 hours, they measure your blood sugar, you're still 180 milligram per dil or 10 millimole per liter, you are diabetic. You are a diabetic to clarify on that. So you have a lot of time what they call high blood sugar, hyperglycemia, and occur, put you with a disease. So you don't want to have a high blood sugar. So you really need to control your diet, exercise, and weight. Now, some of these people with hyperglycemia might not be diabetes. They will be, like, for example, polycystic ovary syndrome, Cushing syndrome. They're not diabetes, but their blood sugar also will goes up. So now I mentioned before, everyone will check is A1C. Now, A1C usually normal is 5.7% and less. Now, if you, which you take a regular glucose test, is about 117 milligram per dil or 6.5 millimole per liter. That is the normal blood test. But if you're pre-diabetic, it's 5.76.4. As I mentioned, is 117 to 137 milligram per dil, or 6.5 to 7% millimole per liter. Now, if you are diabetic, you're over, your A1C is over 6.4, you are a diabetic. And your blood sugar, by taking blood sugar, you put 137 milligram per dil, or 7.6 millimole per liter. Beyond that, you don't do anything, your risk will just continue going up. A1C will go from 6.5 all the way as high as 10, 15, whatever that percent. And that's not good for you because the higher you go, the chance of complications become a lot more. Now, so we talk a lot about how to identify of pre-diabetic when identify what is diabetes now. So how do you manage, what strategy you take to manage your diabetes or your pre-diabetic? So make sure that you can be not over 6.4. That is the goal that you have to do. Now, very important, you have to have good sleeping habit. Why? Because when you have good sleeping habit, sleep a certain time, like for example, I always sleep at 10 o'clock, I wake up at 5. It's always good to do that because then even in weekend, whatever, it will stabilize your blood sugar. It will not stress you or anything like that. So important to start out, you have the regular good sleeping time. Don't go sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning and then wake up at 7. That's not going to help you because then your body whole thing will get stressed. You have to also eat healthy diet. Like, as I mentioned, you have to decrease the carbs intake. Remember, we should take 150 gram carbs to 200 gram carbs. That's it. Okay. And you can calculate it. For example, eat an apple is about 7 to 9 gram of carbs. So you can calculate everything, that you can monitor it, and you can really able to know how much carbs you take. Carbs is the one that will get you up to the blood sugar. Plus, you need to eat, your portion size is going to be smaller. So it's good to get a smaller plate so you look like, wow, I eat a lot. But actually, at the end of the day, it's not really, you have a lot of food. It's just small plate to carry all the food on there that looks big for you. So half the plate got to be all high green fibers, like a lot of salad, a lot of vegetable. You try to do that every day. I'm guarantee you, you're good. You feel good. You feel lightweight. You don't feel bloated, and you feel you have a lot more fibers. So you feel really wonderful. And so the greens to give you the fiber. Now also you limited your starch by getting the beans, and then your protein will be your fish. So all that you have good, balanced diet. But instead of eating hot dog, all these processed food, because processed food have a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, which you don't know. So eliminate the processed food. And then you have to drink a lot of water. And that's why we created low sugar tea with 2 liters every day. You need the water to flush things out, to dilute your blood so you don't get all the sugars high. So that's why you have to design to give you to 2 liters. Drink 2 bags a day, 1 bag per liter. So net result, you have enough fluid to flush everything out. You don't have enough fluid, you can't flush the sugars out, you can flush the cholesterol out, you can flush the salt out, so blood pressure could need high. Plus, you have to do regular exercise, and you have to do at least 30 minutes exercise, or 150-minute work or exercise every week. But I suggest just do, 1 hour every day, walk. That's it. Walk, simple, easy to manage. And you can walk to a step master, up and down, get a barbell, do this, up and down, and do half an hour every day. And then you can find out, wow, my weight goes down. So you can basically, very simple, if you can walk through a shopping mall, get a step master from your house, and you go from there. I think you'll be very, very easy to do, okay? Now, a lot of people don't realize you have to manage stress, because stress, it increase the stress hormone come out, and they will get you to really, your body will pump out more sugar to prepare you for the stress. So you don't want to get more sugar. You want to get less sugar, relax. And all these link to, if more stress, you get more insulin resistance, brings out your high blood sugar in the bloodstream circulate. So you need to get that down. Now, drinking those sugar definitely help you. They're caffeine free. You won't affect the sleep. Is also have great amount of fluid. You have 2 liters per day you drink, and it definitely regulate your blood sugar, lower down blood sugar. And you have to schedule a regular doctor checkup to measure pre-diabetic. If you're diabetic or diabetes, you have to look at the blood. Is your A1C is 5.7 or your 6.4, and bring it down. Keep looking at it and go bring it down. Now, more important is if you see your risk, a family have diabetes, and I'm overweight, then you have to really early detection. Go to see the doctor. See if your risk symptom is it really matched that we'll just talk about, so you can able to test your A1C. So you have to ask the doctor, say, hey, can you tell me, get my A1C test? Am I really at, the 5.7, or what is the range of 6.4? Because that measure is very accurate, because it gives you a 3 months average of your blood sugar. So that's why it's so important to continue to measure. And the healthcare provider, the doctor, will help you and to able to give you that information. So always early detection, so you know what you are, so you can able to treat right away. So now you can actually just use food, nutritional, to reverse your pre-diabetic. So how do you do that? You eat a lot of fruits. And basically, the fruits have minerals, and there are low GI fruits like berries, apple, pears, papaya. All these things can be good for you. A lot of fibers. And you got to have a lot of vegetables. As I say, your half a plate is all vegetable and low in calorie, high fibers. It gives you tremendous nutrition. And make sure that not starchy vegetable, be broccoli, spinach, leaflet greens like lettuce, pumpkin seed. So this is all good for you, and always good for whole grain stuff, which is rich of fiber, vitamin, and then you can able to get more fibers to help with your good guts. So some of them is brown rice, red rice, oats, barleys. All these are good fibers for your whole grain stuff. And nigam, the beans, okay, is also high fiber. So lentil, chicken pea, beans, all those are good smart carbs you can continue to eat. So that's something that you can able to do that all the time. Now, when you get fruits, always go for low GI food, glycemic index food. So in other words, you eat that food, it doesn't spike your sugar. Those are like berries, strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, blackberry. So all these are good stuff. Or apples, any apple is good because they have good fiber. It slow down the absorption of sugar. It doesn't spike the sugar. Pears is also good and a good source of fiber. Also citric fruit like orange, and also other low GI fruits will be like peach, plum, something like that. So cherry, cherry is not. Peaches is. Peach is good, and plum is good. So do more of those. Okay. Also guava. Yeah, that's why we put guava. Guava is a low GI fruit, and that's why this low sugar guava is there. Okay, and it does actually slow down your glucose go inside the bloodstream. That's why guava is very good source, and plus a good vitamin, mineral, antioxidant. So that all help you improve overall health. And guava is actually is a major ingredient we have in the tea, and it's very delicious. Now you have to portion your intake. In other words, you don't want to take so much food, all steak and all, but no, you put half of them all salad. You get all 1/4 is your fish, white chicken, but not fats, pork. Those are the things. And you get after that, you can with brown rice, red rice, rather than eating white rice. Forget about red rice. Plus, you get after dinner, you can eat some of the apple, pears, or strawberry. To help you give you the healthy, as a healthy dessert, if you will. And so you have good fruits, balanced diet. So especially when you start eating all these good food, you must go for whole foods, meaning that the whole food is give you all fibers. It can help you to better regulate your blood sugar levels, improve insulin sensitivity. And you need to also, because whole foods are real food now, I'm talking about give you good minerals, which can improve your overall health, prevent complication. So you won't be really changed to a diabetic. Also, you want to not add sugar. Your whole food naturally they usually have very low added sugars, and plus is most of the whole food are low calories that you can instead of eating high processed food, which is not good for you because they usually have maybe a lot of sugars and a lot of salt. So that is really not good. Now I know all of us like snacks, so you need to have good snack, and the good snack is like exactly this picture. Get carrots, get tomato, small tomato, and cucumber. Oh, those are very good stuff. You need healthy snack to manage a pre-diabetic and diabetes. And I always carry this snack with me. Instead of eating cookies, instead of eating chips, my snack is really this type of vegetable. It's really a lot of fiber, low fat, and also is really good. And I have some nuts, almonds, walnuts. Sometimes I'm real hungry, I get a hard-boiled egg. You can get whole grain crackers. And basically all that will be very good for your snack. So do that, okay? And certainly you have all kind of nice dessert can do, like fresh fruit, berries, I mentioned, Greek yogurt, dark chocolate, big apple beers, and cinnamon. All that can be very healthy. At the end of the day, make sure you drink low sugar tea, because low sugar tea will definitely help you lower your blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. Because inside there are two things. There's only guava leaves and bitter melon. So it will help you lower your blood sugar, high blood pressure, and bad cholesterol. 3 things that will help you handle. So at the end of the day, pre-diabetic is not a life sentence for you, but you just need to proactively make yourself from a pre-diabetic not to go over the line, it'll continue pre-diabetic or go back to normal the normal stage of A1C over under 5.7. Now, I tell you, this is a long-term thing. It's in other words, you got it done. You say, oh, I'm cured. No, you're not. You got to continue practice on it. You have to continue to raise awareness, the steps that you do. You have to make sure that you continue to change your lifestyle from exercise to diet and losing weight. And then you won't able to get yourself to type 2 diabetes. And again, you have to prioritize the food like whole grain, vegetable, fruits, ligam on your diet. And then you have to have a really strategy implement a balanced meal, portion control. You are mindful to eat it, okay? And then you have to really sometimes get a very practical approach, such as, you have to have a good meal prepared. You have to plan your exercise, and then you can also continue to measure yourself. That's the key. You have to measure yourself, your weight yourself. You can do it every other day, weighing yourself, make sure the weight is going down, not going up. It's very easy to get fat. I tell you that because I happen to me myself. After a trip, man, I said I gained 5 pounds, and then you minus that 5 pounds. That's really hard. So you have to continue to do that. And continue to measure your blood sugar because then you know, I'm okay. My A1C is lower than 6. That is your goal. You have to drive it more lower than 6, best to go to 5.7. That's what you will do. So I hope you continue to follow through all that step and hope this lecture give you a good idea what you gotta do. So net result, you will continue to be healthy and continue to be good. And make sure that you are pre-diabetic. You can able to reverse that to lower to 5.7 so you don't even have to become pre-diabetic. If your blood pressure is going up and your blood sugar start going up, you have to start monitor the whole situation. The key is ask your doctor, what is my A1C? And 3 months later, you measure, and hopefully that A1C will go down. And so net result, remember, drink low sugar tea will help you this. Because with the low sugar tea drinking every day, if you drink 6 to 8 cups a day, enough fluid of more than 2 liters, I'm very sure your blood sugar will go down and your cholesterol will go down and your blood pressure going down. So this is today's lecture. If you have any question, please write to us. My email address is Andy, ANDY, at WAHFONG.com. Andy, ANDY, at WAHFONG.com. Or WhatsApp us, 852-6792-8891. WhatsApp is 852-6792-8891. So hope everything will be really, today lecture give you a great idea. If you're pre-diabetic, you can convert back, no longer a pre-diabetic. But you got to work on it. You have to work on it, change your lifestyle. At the end of the day, drink low sugar tea. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your time spent with me for my lecture. I hope you learn what is going on, and hopefully you'll be good health and continue to lower your A1C back to 5.7 and lower. Thank you again. Take care, and looking forward to work with you soon, and see you next time on your next lecture. Take care. Bye-bye.